If you want to set up your WooCommerce store to sell in multiple currencies, then today's video is for you. Hi, my name is Darren Belanco, founder of OnlineThinking.net, and in today's video, I'm going to show you how to set up multiple currencies on your WooCommerce store. Let's have a look at this website over here. Just to explain exactly what we are going to be doing today is we are going to be setting up multiple currencies on our WooCommerce store. And what that is the ability to change the currency that your products are sold in based on the location of your potential customers or visitors. Now, there are two ways that you can do this. You can do this by the user's IP address, so that'll be detected what country they are located in, and it will automatically change the price on the front end here. Or you can do that by a drop-down selection list. And the way you are able to do this on your WooCommerce store is by using a plugin called Booster for WooCommerce. Now, this is a plugin that I've recommended in most of my videos because it is one of the most versatile and flexible plugins that you can install for your WooCommerce store. For this particular setup, we are going to need the Booster Plus plugin, which is the paid version of their plugin, because the particular features that we need to set up the multi-currency setup are only available on the paid version of the plugin. So you're going to have to go and grab yourself a copy of the Booster Plus plugin. Once you have got your copy of the Booster Pro plugin or Booster Plus plugin, you're going to have to install that plugin onto your WordPress installation and activate that on your WooCommerce store. We have already done that on the site, so that plugin is all ready to go, and we have already started the setup for the WooCommerce store. So the only thing that we need to do is get our payment gateway sorted out, and then we'll go directly into the multi-currency setup. There are a few settings that I want to just show you quickly first before you have the setup, because there are a few new things that WooCommerce has included in their plugin now, which weren't included in one of their old versions of the plugin. So I need to just show you some things that have changed over there. So where you want to go is to the WooCommerce settings menu. Once your settings page has loaded, if you just go over to the Payments tab, you'll see under your Payments tab here, you will have all the payment methods that you have available on your website. Now, in the older versions of the WooCommerce plugin, they would have the PayPal standard payment integration here. And now in the newer versions of their plugin, they have the PayPal checkout version of this integration over here. With the new version of the plugin, you are able to access the settings of this plugin regardless of what the base currency of your store is. So meaning you can access this page regardless if your base currency of your store is set to US dollars or South African rands or any currency that PayPal does not take. If you're using the old version of the PayPal plugin, which is the PayPal standard version. If we try and access this plugin when our base currency is set to US dollars or a currency that PayPal does accept, you'll see that this page loads here perfectly fine. However, if you go back to your general store settings and you change this to South African Rand and you just save the changes, what we'll do now is we will go back to our page where we had our PayPal standard open. If you try and reload this page now, you will see that you get an error here saying gateway disabled. The PayPal standard does not support your currency. That is correct, and if you are using this particular PayPal integration, this will still work. However, what you do need to do first is just go back to your general store settings, change your store currency to US dollar, which is a currency that PayPal does accept. And then what you will do is you can go to your payments page. What you want to do is make sure that your PayPal standard gateway is turned on. Then go into manage it, and then you want to set this gateway up. I'm going to show you how to set this gateway up because it can be a little bit confusing with the API integration that you need to choose. So where you want to go on this page is if you scroll down to the bottom here, you will see here API credentials. This is information that you need to go and get from your PayPal account and input it here for this gateway to work. So we'll head over to our PayPal account And once you're logged into your PayPal account, where you want to go is just to the settings cog in the top right corner, and then go into account settings. Once your account settings have loaded, you'll see here there's a section for your API access. Hit the update link here, and on this page you'll be presented with a couple of API options. The particular option that you want to use for your WooCommerce installation is the MVP/SOAP integration. You'll hit the Manage API Credentials link, and that link will bring you to this page over here. This page will give you your API username, your API password, and your API signature. These are the values here, once you click this link over here, that you will input into your WooCommerce store over here into this box. Once you've inputted those values there, you'll hit the Save Changes button. Once you've saved your changes, your PayPal standard integration has been set up and will be live on the front end of your website. Make sure that you have this checkbox here enabled, and make sure that you have this set everything to live and not to sandbox mode. Here we go. Make sure that this sandbox is not enabled. This will mean that your gateway is live on your website. Then what you want to go and do is go back to the General tab. Once you're in the General tab, you can then go and change your base store currency back to the South African Rand, and you can hit Save Changes. Once you've saved those changes, you can go back to the Payments tab, and now you will see that our PayPal Standard Gateway has turned off over here, and our Pay Fast Gateway has turned on. That is correct if you're using the PayPal Standard Gateway. This doesn't mean that the PayPal Standard has been deactivated completely. It's just because your store base currency is on South African Rand. Once you do the multi-currency conversion setup, if someone visits your store on the front end and they are presented with US dollar, they will then also be able to get the settings, and they will also be able to get access to the PayPal integration. So this is correct if you're using the PayPal Standard integration, and that is correct if you do have ZAR or a currency that is not supported by PayPal set up. If you're using the PayPal checkout integration, this is the new PayPal integration that is included with the newer versions of your WordPress install. This version of the plugin does display as on regardless of what currency you select for the base currency of your store. So if you're using this version, you can simply go into Manage, and you'll see some of the same settings here. It's a little bit different here in terms of your staging environment, whether it's live or sandbox, but you'll still see these same settings here for your API details like your username, your password, and your signature. So make sure that you've got all your PayPal settings set up first correctly, and then select which gateway you're going to be using for the checkout on your site. I wanted to make sure that I covered both of these PayPal gateways in this tutorial because I'm not sure which one you might have on your site, and if you are using the standard, a lot of people think that when they see this turned off that the integration isn't going to work, and that's not going to be the case. So we are going to now disable this checkout because we know that this one is going to work correctly. The next thing you want to do is go and set up your Pay Fast gateway. That is the South African gateway for managing rands. So you just go into there and hit the Manage button. And to set this gateway up is really easy. All you're going to need to do is get your merchant ID, your merchant key, and your passphrase, and that can be very easily done from inside your PayFast account. If you go to the Settings and Integration menu over here, you'll get your merchant ID, your merchant key, and your passphrase that you can enter in over here, and that is your PayFast gateway set up. Now that we've got our payment gateway set up on the site, it's time for us to go and set up the multi-currency conversions on the site. If you go and have a look at the site on the front end now, what you will see is our currency should be displaying in rands as it is over here. We are going to go and set up the multi-currency settings now. So if someone outside of South Africa comes to the site, this will then be displayed in US dollars or another currency. So where you want to go to set this up is you want to just go into the back end of your site and you want to install and activate the Booster Plus or Booster Pro plugin. Once you have installed and activated the Booster Pro plugin, you'll see that there are two additional links added under the main WooCommerce menu in your backend. Where you want to go is to the Booster Settings menu, and under the Settings menu, you will have a list of all of the modules that are available in this plugin, all on one page. So you will see here there's the Prices and Currencies modules, there's the button and price, and there's all the modules going all the way down. Also, you can select the different links at the top here to get gist of those modules displayed. If you haven't activated the plugin yet, where you want to go is just to the site key link over here. I have activated the plugin, so there's no need for me to go and do that now, but if you haven't done that yet, that is where you want to go. Moving on to the setup now of our multi-currency conversion, the module we are going to use here is under the Prices and Currencies tab and under the Payment Gateways tab. The first tab we want to go to is the Prices and Currencies tab. You will see under the Prices and Currencies tab that we have a bunch of different extensions that we can choose from. The one that we are going to use here are Prices and Currencies by country. What this extension is going to allow us to do is set the price and currency change based on the country that the user is coming from. The first setting you want to select here is just to enable the module. So you can select that checkbox over there. And the next set of settings is Customer Country Detection Method. And this you can detect by IP, or you can detect by IP and then user selection. So if you have a drop-down list on the site, users can then go and select what country or currency they want to display based on that selection, or you can select simply by user selection only. We are going to go by IP only. Then we are going to have the override set here to the customer's checkout and billing country. This is going to be important when it comes to the payment gateways changing on your checkout page, because otherwise what ends up happening is the store prices get overridden, and on these single product pages the prices and currencies are overridden. However, when the user gets through to your cart and checkout, there are some problems there when it comes to displaying the right gateway. So the option you want to select here is by the user's billing country, because most of the time if they are choosing a billing amount or a billing country such as PayPal or US dollars, that is going to be the correct gateway you want to show them. You then want to select the override scope as the entire site. This is important because then it keeps everything in the front end of your store on the store pages and your single product pages. It just keeps everything in sync with everything on your cart and checkout pages. Revert currency to checkout on default. We do not want that to happen. And we also do not want to set the billing country to the default. You can keep the price rounding off as well as the pretty price. This pretty price is similar to rounding. As you can see here, you can round prices up from $9.75 or $10 down to $9.99 or something like that. By doing this, it's a little bit more attractive on the front end to the users, where you are presenting a price that's $9.99 rather than a flat $10. So that's something that you can do here, but this setting can be a bit tricky and does need a little bit of fiddling around with. So we are going to keep this unchecked over here. Price by country on a per product basis. What this does is this will add an additional little meta box into the WooCommerce product page for you to go and input the additional prices and currencies on the front end. The example of this would be if you have a product that is selling for 500 Rand on the front end of your site. The exact US dollar conversion of that might be something arbitrary like $23.21. And you might want to display that price a little bit better. So by having this meta box on the product itself, you're able to go into that product and go and input a price to the exact number that you would like. So rather than having an arbitrary price, you can then go and put $22.99. So that is just something to keep in mind. We will keep this enabled because I'd like to show you where this does add this additional meta box. This is to add a country flag if you're using the drop-down list for the country selector. We are not going to be using the drop-down list, so we are not going to enable this box over here. We can leave this unchecked over here. There are a few more settings here now just for compatibility, because when it comes to changing prices and currencies, things can get a little bit messed up. And an example of this would be a fixed coupon. If you have given a fixed coupon value for the amount of 250 Rand, if you don't select these settings over here, what ends up happening is that coupon gets translated directly to a $250 coupon, which is significantly more than what a 250 Rand coupon is. So what this will do is it will fix errors like that. What you want to do here is just go and check all of these boxes over here. And then the next section over here we'll see is the advanced settings. You can keep the filter priority at 0. And this IP detection method here, you will get two methods. This I would recommend testing on your installation and on your client's website, because one may work better for you. I generally find that I like to use the booster detector method because I find that one works a little bit better for me. However, you might find the WooCommerce option might work better for you. You can then scroll down a little bit more over here, and you will then see the country groups option here, where you can then select how you want to set up your countries that are going to be displayed here. This gives you the options to add all countries in the world and all currencies, or you can only add PayPal supported currencies only. The PayPal supported currencies only does set up a lot of other options on your site, and it can get quite confusing. So what I would generally do here is just set up South African Rand and US dollar. How you would do that is the following. For this first group over here, I would go and select United States dollar, and I would just name this PayPal group. I'd name this PayPal group because then you would know that this is for your foreign currency or your US dollar. Over here, the option you want to select is the automatically via currency exchange rates module. We are going to go and set this module up at a later stage. So what you want to do here is just open that in a new tab. And for now, you just want to hit Save Changes. Now that our changes have been saved and the page is reloaded, you just want to scroll down to the bottom here because there's a few more settings we need to update. And back over here just for the country groups. The option I like to use is the chosen select, because that will allow us here, you'll see here, group 1, we've named it PayPal group. And here you can go and add the countries that you want to show this particular currency to. Generally, when I'm selling online, I only have the tier 1 countries, so that's United States, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and United Kingdom. So those are the countries you're going to go and select here. So what we can do here is go to United States, and we can also just go and add Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and United Kingdom. This is the group that I'm going to set up, which is going to see United States dollar. We can then go down here and hit the Save Changes again. And now that we've saved those settings, we are able to move on to the next stage of the setup here. If you remember, at the bottom of this page under the exchange rate settings, we click this page over here for the currency exchange rates module. This tab is over here, and you'll see here currency exchange rates module. What we want to do here is just enable this module, and this module is where this plugin is going to get the updated prices and the updated currency exchange rates on a daily basis or on a schedule that we choose here. So the settings you want to choose here, I generally choose update daily, and I also generally choose the European Central Bank. Once that has been done, you can hit the Save Changes, and that is the only setup that you're going to need for this particular module. All this does is sets your rate, and you can see here 23 hours till the next update. What we can do is just go and select the update all rates now, so we know we have the latest rates. And once that's updated, we can then go and have a look at the front end of our store and see if all of these changes have been implemented and have taken effect properly. Okay, so we'll come over to our store now and we'll have a look if this is all set up correctly. And if we just scroll here, you'll see that the multi-currency is selecting, it's picking up the dollars, but it's not picking up the correct conversion or the correct amount. If you do run into this problem, it might be because of the settings on the actual currency converter. So how are you going to get around this? So if you just go back to the dashboard here, and where you want to go is to the currency exchange rates first. And you'll see on the currency exchange rates page, we have selected the exchange rates server, which is fine. But if you're having these problems, what you want to do is just go over to the free currency converter, click this link, and head over to this website. And over here, you can just enter in your email address, and you should be able to get a API key sent to your mailbox. So if we just complete the captcha over here, we'll have a captcha key sent to our email box. I have already completed this form, so you can see the email is already registered. So I'm just going to have to go through to my mailbox to get the API key. Now that I've come over to my mailbox, I've opened the mail that has been sent to me by the currency converter that we were just on, and you can see here is the API key that they're going to provide us with. So we can select that key, go back to our WordPress website here where it says the free currency converter, and we can go and input that key over there. Once that key has been inputted over there, what you want to go and select is under the exchange rates over here. You'll then see the option for the free currency converter API, and that is the currency converter that we just got the API key from. Select that option and then just hit the Save Changes button. Alright, now our settings have been saved. If you just scroll down this page, back down to the exchange rates settings area here, you'll see that inside this field over here, there's no number value or no actual exchange rate that has been pulled through there yet. And that is the reason why we were seeing $0 on the front end of our website. Now that we have changed where we are updating our exchange rates from, we'll be able to go and hit the ZAR USD button to the right over here, and you will see that this has been populated with the correct exchange rates. Once that has been done, you can just hit the Save Changes button again, and then let's just scroll down just to confirm that that has been saved. That has been saved. Now before we go back to the front end of the site, there's one more place that we do need to go and check that these settings have pulled through to, and that's back on the prices and currency by country module that we had activated earlier. And if we just scroll down on this page, you will see on this module here, we selected where we will be getting the currencies updated from. You'll see that we're getting the currencies from the currency exchange rates module, but over here you'll see that there's also another blank box over here where we should have the currency rate being pulled through. So if we just hit that button again to the right hand side, we should see that the currency has now been pulled through there with the correct conversion. If we hit Save Changes again, our settings will now be saved, and we can then go back to the front end of the site, and now if we update, we should be able to get the correct amounts and prices on the front end. And there you go. You can see that our initial pricing that was in rands on the site has now been changed to US dollar, and it has also been changed to the correct amounts. Now that we know that the currency conversion is working correctly on our store pages, we can see we've got some products in our cart here. Let's head over to our cart and checkout pages and see if that's all working correctly. And yes, we can see it's working correctly on our cart page. And let's see if it's working correctly on our checkout as well. And on the checkout page is where we're really going to be able to test and see how this works. Because if you remember at the beginning of the setup, there were the two options where we could have the currency selection by IP address only, or by billing address selection, or by both. So obviously it's now detecting, as you can see, by billing address, because I'm not using a VPN, so obviously my IP address, it will be picking up South Africa as a default currency. But if we just head over here now and then go and type South Africa and change the country here, you will see that the pricing defaults back to our rand pricing with the correct amounts here. If we go and change this to something else like Australia, you'll see it goes back to the US dollar pricing. Now, one final thing that I would like to show you here, just in case you run into some further errors. As you can see here, when we go and change our countries, at the moment our gateways are displaying correctly. If we go and select United States, for example, you will see that the PayPal gateway will still display and PayFast will not display. And likewise, if we go and change our billing country to South Africa, you will see that PayFast does display. If you're having some trouble with the correct payment gateways displaying on your checkout page, I would recommend that you go and do the following setup. If you just go back into your WordPress dashboard here, what you can go and do is you can head over to the Booster Settings page. And once you get to the Booster Settings, where you can go is Payment Gateways. Under the Payment Gateways module settings here, what you're going to look for is gateways either by currency or gateways by country. You can choose either one of these, but I am going to go and select the gateways by currency. And what this is going to allow us to do is it's going to allow us to display a chosen gateway depending on the currency which is being checked out in the checkout. So we've only got two currencies. There's going to be ZAR and US dollar. So what we are going to select is if USD is being checked out on our store, we are then going to display the PayPal checkout option. And if South African rands are being used as the currency on our checkout, then we are going to display PayFast. We'll select the Enable Module option here. And if you scroll down here, you'll see the different types of payment options coming through here. The payment options that will be displayed here are the payment gateways that you have set up under the WooCommerce settings area. You'll see PayPal over here. Under PayPal, we can just list the United States dollar, and we can even list a denied currency. So we can go and list South African rand there if we would like as well. We then also have the option for the PayFast checkout, where we can also go and type in allowed currency is only going to be South African rand, and the disallowed countries is going to be United States dollar. Now, if you decided to use the other plugin for this by selecting which countries would be allowed specific gateways, it would work pretty much the same as the setup. Once you've set up those options over there, you can hit Save Changes, and then that's all you need to worry about. This you might not need to install, just as you have seen on this website over here. We weren't having any problems with our PayFast and PayPal gateway. However, you might want to do it just as a backup, or if you are having problems with your checkout being loaded. If you want to double check this now, we can also just head back to the shop page, and we should start seeing the South African rand being loaded because we have selected South Africa under our billing country. And there you go. You can see we're back on South African rands here, and everything is working fine. Thanks for watching today. If you got value from this video, please subscribe to the channel and hit the like button below. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again next week.